Welcome to another video from McFatter Tech Musser. If you like these videos, please click subscribe. Okay, so this is 70-741 Lab 10, implementing network policy server, which we also call a radius server. There's going to be a number of exercises in this. We're going to install, we're going to configure the network policy server. We're going to be configuring that network policy server for a radius server for VPN connections. We'll be looking at managing our radius templates, configuring that radius accounting, creating and configuring connection request policies, creating and configuring network policies, and then also at the end we'll take a look at exporting and importing our network policy server NPS configuration. So let's get started. We're only going to be working with our DC1. Keep in mind that in a production environment, you're going to have multiple servers. We're in a test environment, so we don't have that luxury. So let's get started. Our first exercise is installing and configuring the network policy server. This is Microsoft's Radius server. It provides centralized authentication for Radius clients. Remember, your Radius client is your VPN servers, your dial-up servers, your wireless access points, your Ethernet managed switches. It also provides accounting information to log files either to that local hard disk or preferably, of course in a production environment, to a Microsoft SQL Server database. So I've already logged into our Lund-DC1, and my server manager console is open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to manage, add roles and features. There. On the wizard, we're going to click next a few times. We're going to do that role based. We're going to select our only server, and then we're going to on our page here, let's see, on the server roles, we're going to select network policy and access services. That's what's going to do that and enable that network policy server. We of course install our administration tools. We're going to click next. On the add features, we did that to get those administration, the management consoles. We're going to click next. On our little description, we're going to click next. We confirm and we click install. So we're going to watch this install. While that installation proceeds, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause our video. Okay, our installation has completed. We're going to go ahead and click close. We don't have to restart, as we just talked about. We can go ahead, we can go to tools. We're going to come down here, and right there you can see we now have network policy server. I'm going to go ahead and select that and open up our management console for our radius server. It's going to take a few moments for it to load. There it comes up. We'll make this a little bit larger, a little bit easier to view. I'm going to expand the radius clients and servers. And I'm going to move this divider over a little bit, make it a little easier to see. In fact, I'm going to maximize the screen there. We're going to select remote radius server groups. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to select new. And for the group name, I'm going to name it radius servers. Just that simple. I'm going to click add, and it says, hey, what is the radius server? Well, we're going to specify our IP address. So 172.16.0.10. I can verify that. Let's resolve it. Hey, it resolved. Yep. So there's our IP address. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click this authentication and accounting tab. And you're going to answer your first question here of what is the default authentication port used with radius servers. And it's right there on your screen. So right there on your screen for authentication. The second question is, what's the default accounting port used with radius servers? Well, it's right there on your screen. I don't need to read it. We're going to take a screenshot of this and paste that into step number 21. We're going to click OK, and that's going to close that Add Radius Server dialog box. We're back here. We can see it listed now, and our third question is, what is the default weight assigned to the new Radius server? Well, it's right there on your screen. Here again, I don't need to read it. It's right there, right? We'll click OK, and we're going to accept that. Our first exercise is done. So our second exercise is configuring NPS for Radius server for VPN connections. You know, remember our Radius clients? That's those we can also call those access servers. You know, it's our wireless access points, our switches, our VPN. You know, our routing and remote access servers controlling those VPN connections. They forward those Radius requests to a Radius server. Remember that an access client is a computer or a device that contacts and connects to that Radius client. That Radius, remember, Radius client, access servers, interchangeable. Remember, you've got your access clients, you've got your Radius clients, you've got your Radius servers. Important to understand that hierarchy and refer to that graphic, that PDF that's in your D2L. Now, so the first thing we're going to do is we're on the NPS Local, and let's see here under standard. Okay, click NPS Local. So we're going to click this very top header. So you can see that there is this Radius server for dial-up or VPN connections. It's already selected, right? We want to make sure that that's selected. And we're going to click this VPN or dial-up. In there, we're going to do the radio button of Virtual Private Network VPN Connections. We're going to click Next, and we're going to add. And to add that, we're going to give the friendly name of LUN-SVR1 and its IP address. Remember that IP address? 40, right? Let me jump back over to our lab. I'm going to fire that up. Whoops. We'll power that on, and I'll jump back over to DC1 once that refreshes. There it is. We can verify that. We'll resolve it. It resolves to our DNS, right? So on the, we've got that IP address in there. They want us to provide a shared secret, and we're going to do a manual one, and we're going to use that same password that we've been using throughout our exercises. Keep in mind, it's not a very complex password, not a very secure one, but we use it in our test environment. We'll click OK. We're back on our configure screen. We're going to click Next to move on. You notice we've added that intermediary. We'll click Next. Let's answer some more questions. Question number 4 is, by default, what was the authentication method selected? Well, it's right there on your screen. I don't need to tell you. It's already checked. Once you've answered that, we click Next again. And on the Specify User Groups, we're going to answer that question. What happens if you don't specify a user group? Well, it's right there in the description. To select user groups, click Add. If no groups are selected, this policy applies to all users. There's your answer. If you don't specify a group, the policy applies to everyone. We're going to click Next. On the specify IP filters, here again, we're going to leave this the way it is and we're going to click next. On the specify encryption settings, we're going to leave it the way it is. We're going to click next. For the realm name, we're going to type in a datum.com. We're going to click next and click finish. Now, we're going to expand our policies section. And we're going to select connection request policies. Once we've got this up here, you can see there's that virtual private network connections. It's enabled. This is our next screenshot. This would go into step number 16. And our second exercise is done. Our third exercise is managing radius templates. You know, templates simplify the configuration of our radius server by creating radius configuration elements like IP filters or shared secrets, and then we can reuse these on our local NPS servers. We can export the templates, we can import them back into another server so that we've got uniform settings across. So we're going to double click on templates management. It's going to expand that out. We're going to right click on the shared secrets and we're going to say new. And we're going to name this aptly shared secret template. For the shared secret, we're going to use that same password that we've been using all along for our authentication. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to click OK. Now we're going to click shared secrets, the shared secrets node. So right there we can see our template. If you've got that template, this will be your next screenshot. This is going to go into step number 6 in this exercise. Moving back to our left-hand column, under Radius Clients and Servers, we're going to select the Radius Clients. We're going to double-click the LUN SVR1. Brings up our properties for it. And at the bottom, right here, remember we typed that manual one in before? Now we're going to select the drop-down list and we're going to select that template that we've pre-configured. So now this is grayed out. It's going to use that template. So this way, this is a way that you could have a uniform template that applies that shared secret across all your servers. We're going to click OK. We're going to go back to this templates management and I'm going to right-click on templates management and I'm going to select export templates to a file. It says, hey, where do you want to save it? Well, it's defaulting. Let's see, it's defaulting. Scroll down. Let's see, scroll down and click templates XML. Really? I don't think that's there. Okay, I skipped a step. In the file name, I'm going to click. I'm just going to simply type in templates and click save. You could pick a different location. In fact, you know what? They don't tell you to, but I'm going to. I'm going to put it in my downloads folder, and I'm going to click save. They then say right-click on templates management and import templates from a file. This is simply an exercise on how to export, how to import. Well, there's my templates XML document. We'll click open. And that is how you export and import templates. Just that simple. Doesn't matter whether it's the same machine or other machines. You might want to export all those templates, keep them in a safe spot so if someone would inadvertently change a template, you've got those to back them up, got those to restore. That's our third exercise. We're done with 3 exercises already. Let's see, wait a minute, 1 second. Our fourth exercise is configuring that radius accounting. Remember, we do authentication, we do authorization, and we do accounting. Accounting logs all those different other things. Remember that our NPS server, it supports radius accounting. We can use this to track, for example, auditing. We could use it for billing purposes. Maybe we're controlling access for a client. When configured for accounting, NPS can log accounting data to a text log file or to a SQL Server database. Remember, you want to use that database. Log files can get large real quick. If you're saving them to a local text file, it could consume a lot of space very quickly. On our network policy server here, you can see that there's an accounting node. We're going to select that, and in the middle section, we're going to select Configure Accounting. The wizard starts up, and we're going to click Next. And it says, how do you want to configure your accounting? We're going to use a text file on the local computer. Not a good idea, but for our test environment, for our little sandbox here, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to click Next. And you can see all the different types of logging information that's going to be saved to that. Let's answer our sixth question. Where will the logs be stored? Well, the default directory is right there on your screen. I'm not going to read it to you. There's no point to that. But that structure, that directory under your C drive is going to be your answer to question number 6. We're going to click Next. And we're going to take another screenshot. This is your summary page. Shows all your different settings. This is your next screenshot that goes into step number 5. We'll click Next and close. And accounting is configured. You can see right here, configured to the log files folder or file. Exercise 4 is done already. Exercise 5, creating and configuring connection request policies. Our connection request policies are used to establish a set of connections and settings that Radius servers perform when authenticating, authorizing, and accounting connection requests through Radius clients. Remember, our Radius clients are that intermediary layer. Authenticating, authorizing, and accounting, that's our AAA. In our network policy server, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select policies. And in policies, let's see, where are we at here? Click policies. Yes, I did. And they say, question number 7. What does the default connection request policy do? Well, connection request policies allow you to designate whether connection requests are processed locally or forwarded to remote Radius servers. We're going to right-click Connection Request Policies. We're going to choose New. Our wizard starts, and we're going to call this Connection Request Policy 1. Under the type of network access server, we're going to specify Remote Access Server VPN dial-up. Before you go any further, this is going to be your next screenshot. You're going to paste this into step number 5 here in exercise 5. Once you've got that screenshot, click Next. And we're at the Specify Conditions page. Here we're going to click Add. And we're going to scroll down under Conditions until we find Tunnel Type. Right there it is. We're going to select that. We're going to click Add. It says, hey, what type of tunnel are you specifying? We're going to select the second one, the ESP, the IP encapsulating security payload in tunnel mode. We're also going to select Layer 2 tunneling protocol, that's L2TP, and also SSTP, that's Secure Socket Tunneling Protocol. You'll remember learning about that in your lesson yesterday. and we will click OK. We've got our tunnel type specified. That's our first condition. We're going to click Add once more, and this time we're going to scroll down till we see day and time restrictions. Right here. We'll select it. We'll click Add. And we want to specify Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then we'll select it as permitted. So Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Here's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, permitted. So you drag a box around the time and day parameters, select permitted, and then click OK. We've specified a second condition. We're going to click Next, and now on the Specify Connection Request Forwarding, here again, we're going to click Next. On the authentication methods, we're going to leave everything the way it is. We're going to click Next. On the Configure Settings page, again, we're going to click Next, and we're ready to finish. We click Finish. We now have configured that policy. Let's select that Connection Request Policy node, and we can see our Connection Request Policy right there. So in the order, you can see there's a processing order. First, it processes the VPN connection. Then it processes the connection request policy. Does it meet those conditions? Am I allowed to connect? Yes. We use Windows authentication for all users. So you can see the process, the order in which these things are processed. Take a screenshot. This is your next screenshot that goes into step number 18. Once you've got that, exercise 5 is done. We're already down to exercise 6. It's creating and configuring network policies. Network policies establish that set of conditions, constraints, and settings that specify who is authorized to connect to the network and the circumstances under which that user can connect or not connect. Let's take a look here. We're going to right-click Network Policies, and we're going to select New. For the network policy name, we're going to call it Network Policy 1. Keep in mind, these are pretty simplistic names. If you're going to be configuring these within your environment, in all likelihood, you're going to have something descriptive for your network, right? We've got our Network Policy 1 name, and for the type of network, here again, we've been working with that remote access, that VPN dial-up. We're going to select that again. Remote access server, and we're going to click Next. Now, actually, I think we need to go back. Let's go back here because they ask a question. What are the 3 components that make up an NPS network policy? What are the 3 components? So our question number 8 is, what are the 3 components that make up an NPS network policy? Well, we know that there are conditions. We can see that here. So we're going to click Add. So that would be 1, right? Conditions. We're going to select Windows Groups, and this will be our first conditions, and we're going to click Add. What groups do we want to add? We're going to click Add Groups, and it says name is going to be Domain Guest. I don't remember us ever creating that group. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Okay, so that's what we're going to match. We're going to click OK. So there's the first of the 3 things, a condition. We're going to click Next. We're going to give an access, we're going to specify an access permission. What is our next question, that we're on to question 9, what is that default access permission? Well, it's right there, access granted, right? So here again, we can answer our question 9. We're going to click Next. And now we're on to the configure authentication methods. We're going to click Next. Now, this is the second of our 3 components, constraints. So we've got conditions, we've got constraints. On the constraints, we're going to, we're going to say we're going to select disconnect if this is idle timeout. We're going to put a check mark on disconnect after the maximum idle time, and we're going to say 15 minutes. So a constraint is no activity for 15 minutes, disconnect the user. We'll click Next. Where are we at now? Settings. So for question number 8, conditions, constraints, and settings. That's question number 8. On our settings page, we're going to leave this all the way it is. We're going to click Next and finish. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select network policies. Now we can see that network policy that we created right there, network policy 1. And if we select it, we can see our conditions, our settings. Doesn't show our constraints in there, but they're there. Go ahead, take a screenshot, and you're going to paste this into step number 13. We're down to the lab challenge, the last step in the whole kit and caboodle. The lab challenge is exporting and importing the NPS configuration. Remember, we can export our templates, we can import templates with the different machines. Well, we can also export the NPS configuration. Now, to do this, we don't use the NPS server dialog. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close that view. What I am going to do is I'm going to right-click the Start button on my DC1 and I'm going to select Run. I'm going to type in CMD and click OK. Open up with a command prompt, right? Now, I take that back. They want this in administrative mode. So I'm going to, inversely, I'm going to click Start and I'm going to type COMM. And I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to say Run as Administrator. Click Yes. And now we've got that administrator command prompt. I'm going to type net sh, a space, and actually no space, and press Enter. Puts me into the net sh prompt. We're going to type the following command: export file name equals quotes C:\backslash BAK.XML. We're going to close that quote and also export PSK equals yes. We're going to click Enter or press Enter. And oh, I added a space. Can't be a space. Let's see if it's successful now. It was not. What did I do wrong? Export file name back XML. Let's try this. Let's try it with just this. Nope. Oh, I skipped a step. Okay, so I was reading ahead and I skipped one of our steps. At that net sh prompt, I need to type in NPS. I got to tell it that I want to work on the NPS. NPS, enter. Now it changes our prompt. Now I can type in that prompt, that command. Let's see if this works. NPS server configuration is successfully exported. But you'll note that there's a warning there. This is our question number 10. What does the warning indicate? This is very important. In fact, I'm going to magnify this. Oops, come back here. The NPS server configuration file contains unencrypted shared secrets for Radius clients and members of the remote access server groups. Because of this, you should ensure that the file is stored in a secure location to prevent malicious users from accessing the files. In addition, those SQL Server logging settings are not exported. If you import this configuration to another NPS server, you have to manually configure the NPS logging. The SQL Server logging. It's very important that you understand that that exported file contains unencrypted passwords. That's what a shared secret is. It's a password. Very important. Question number 10. We're going to type in exit on our command prompt. If I'm on my command prompt, we're back to our command prompt window. To import it, we don't have to go back into that net sh utility. We can simply type in net sh nps import file name equals and our path you notice I tabbed completed. It understood that I was typing in a file path and press enter. Successfully imported. Take a screenshot of this command prompt window, or actually of the entire screen, as you know. Paste that into step number 7. Once you've got that screenshot, you can type exit. The lab is complete. So as you can see, your worksheet set an estimated completion time of 80 minutes. Now, it may take you a little bit longer. I've done this before, even though I forgot a few steps, right? We were done in a little over 33 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to post this up to the YouTube channel just in case you want to review it. Thank you.